Hi, everybody. Welcome in. It is time for Three Guys Before the Game. You probably knew that when you heard the theme music that's loved by so many, but some don't like it. That's all right. What else is new? Episode 513. Title. We struggled on the title. Didn't know which way to go. I mean, I had a bunch of ideas in my head, and we're going to settle on this one. Reinforcement arrives. Reinforcement arrives. There's a lot of layers to that. What's that mean? Well, if Kerr Carissa is the only Mountaineer basketball player who becomes eligible, which he is now, to play on Saturday, then reinforcement arrives. Could be singular. If Raekwon Battle, Noah Farrakhan also join, then it's still reinforcement arrives. You don't have to say reinforcements arrive. So I say all of that to say this. We are in full CYA mode because we literally, to this moment, we're taping at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. We don't know because college athletic departments still don't know exactly how the NCAA is going to determine eligibility based on everything that what happened yesterday in the federal court in Wheeling. And by that I mean potentially they could charge a student athlete with using a year of eligibility if they in fact do play in this 14-day window before the next hearing takes place on the 27th of December. How's that for a tease?
It sounds as if via some reporting that the NCAA isn't quite sure what's happening with the TRO and should players be eligible. So it goes beyond the potential players affected, the potential teams and schools affected. It might rise to the level of the actual organization itself isn't quite clear on what's supposed to happen.
Yeah. Well, if they want to come and do a straw poll here in West Virginia, they'll help them out with that.
I think that gets some
votes
here.
Go down to Gomart. I guess folks at Gomart and Flatwoods, go to Gomart anywhere you want to go. Just go to a Gomart and say, hey, what do you guys think about this eligibility? Hey, they'll say not only go for Gomart, go for good times, but go to Gomart.com is what they'll probably tell you. Get that rewards card where you can save on fuel and food. Gomart.com, strong supporters of eligibility for everyone. Don't you think so?
Fair.
Yeah. Strong supporters.
Let's go.
Three Guys also brought to us by Comax Business Systems. They're keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. Just like Gomart, Comax Business Systems also strongly supportive of eligibility for everyone. Strong supporters. And besides that, they can make sure that the NCAA's computers don't get infected by any viruses or, for that matter, any athletic departments get infected because they provide remote IT services, monitoring, and a whole lot more. And if the NCAA ever decides to make a phone call, they could do it with a brand new phone system provided by Comax Business Systems. Well, the NCAA, what do they need? 1 line? 1,000 lines? Comax Business Systems is there.
Also, wonderful printers with nice ink available. So if you have to print the approval letter out that says there will be no repercussions, and it has to be on official letterhead, right? The blue logo there from the NCAA has to be on the letterhead. Yeah, Comax can handle that as well.
Or if a federal judge sends them an email that they need to print and distribute that says, knock the crap off. I said there's no punitive damage for the student athlete if they play in the 14 days. If he needs to send that, you could print that on a Comax.
Now, didn't Judge Bailey say that? Wasn't that clear in the order? Why is there confusion by the NCAA?
I think Judge Bailey did.
His intentions were clear, I thought.
And much like Paul Revere, right? The British are coming. Lou Wendell Marine Sales, also a strong advocate of eligibility. They're taking pontoons right now, bringing them down the rivers and byways throughout West Virginia, just screaming at the top of their collective lungs. Buy an Avalon Tri-Tune entertainer boat. It's a Three Guys special. And eligibility for one, eligibility for all. Right?
That's a new tagline?
Yeah.
They're working on that?
Yeah. The Lou Wendell Marine Sales, not only do they provide the boats for the James Bond series, they also provide all craft, all pontoon boats for all eligibility cases. The official eligibility pontoon of Three Guys Before the Game. Visit them, St. Albans.
Still working on confirming that.
we got people out there. They're busy right now trying to get this eligibility thing figured out. And 3 guys also brought to us by the Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. We had lunch with those folks. We know where they stand on this stuff.
Had a great lunch.
Yeah.
They brought dessert, too. They brought lunch and dessert.
I bet you that gang, they go in there right now. If, like, the NCAA went to them, like Mike, Sam, everyone, they just would go like, we got this taken care of. Here's how the numbers look on this. They're eligible. 1.2.3, post 5. I'll carry the 6. Yep. Good to go. Conley CPA Group. We'll tell you later in the program what the arrival of Kirk Carissa means analytically and statistically to a basketball game, specifically to WVU, and we're going to get into the other guys too.
Might give you what Raekwon Battle means, just in the event that the NCAA comes to its senses and approves everybody without retribution.
Right, exactly. So let's jump on in. By now, if you're listening or watching this, I don't need to start from the beginning of the week or yesterday's hearing in Wheeling, in which Judge John Bailey issued a temporary restraining order that had an instant aftershock throughout the college landscape, to the point where there were some student athletes who did participate last night in games because they felt comfortable enough that there's a 14-day window here that they can play and there will be no retribution by the NCAA. That's what we all thought yesterday when he put that piece in there in regard to their restriction. However, literally as we record, and this could change seriously in the next 60 minutes, literally they're waiting for the final clarification. And we'll obviously, if we're doing this, we'll say instantly, but you get a feel, if you just listen to this bite from earlier today from WVU coach Josh Eilert, as to the unknown so far that's facing WVU and other schools. Here's what Josh had to say regarding, are these student athletes in the waiver hold pattern eligible to play without damaging their eligibility in the next 14 days?
Concerning yesterday, everyone saw the ruling that came out of the U.S. District Court. Really happy for Ray and the courage that it took for him to pursue his eligibility status and stand up there and testify. So you heard me say all along that Ray should be playing basketball, and I truly believe that that's very important to him and his mental health. And I think he's met that criteria for immediate eligibility. And like the statement we put out yesterday said, we're consulting with our counsel and outside counsel before we make any determination on the eligibility status of our, student athletes that are affected as part of this decision. So we're trying to get some of those questions answered, but unfortunately, I don't have much to add outside of what we put out as a statement. And I know I saw last night that several schools played their affected student athletes, and some had sat them out. So we're still in limbo, and I think there's a lot of schools out there still in limbo trying to figure out what those answers or get those questions they have answered. So fortunately, we don't play till Saturday evening, and we're hoping to get those answers sooner than later. Just need some more clarity more than anything, because we got to, selfishly we can sit here and think, they could really, both of them could really help us, but we got to think about the student athlete and how it affects their overall eligibility. Raekwon's got 1 year of eligibility left. Noah's got 2. And so those conversations have to be had with those student athletes, their families, and our department to figure out what's best for them and as, us as a whole as a program. It's mainly the eligibility. I mean, if we, even in the 14 days, we play 3 games, if, the decision is overturned and they played during this course of the season and they lose that year of eligibility, that doesn't seem like we've made the right decision by the student athlete. And so I want all the facts to be laid out for everybody involved before we make those decisions. I think that's just the right way to handle things and approach things.
All right. So there you go. And literally, since we played that, we received this. And we're doing this live to tape. So Question to the NCAA: does the season of competition legislation apply if a student athlete competes during the 14-day temporary restraining order? The answer from the NCAA: yes, it does apply. The 14-day TRO only enjoined bylaw 14551 and does not change the season of competition legislation. So that would
That's
mean...
a wow. First of all, that's a wow.
Yep. So this is literally, again, what we're saying, where this is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm wondering out loud if immediately they go back, and again, I don't know how this whole thing works. Do you go right back to the court and say, what did you exactly mean? Can you say, like, what were you trying to say there? Can he make another, I don't know. We'll find out.
Far be it for me to speak for Judge Bailey, but it does not seem that was the intention of him specifically putting that piece into the order, that this would be the result from the NCAA. Nicole Auerbach of The Athletic continues on some of this reporting and says, no schools will be penalized retroactively by vacating wins for playing someone who is later to be deemed ineligible, but redshirt rules still apply. And so here's an important distinction. In football, we know that you can play up to 4 games and still keep your red shirt. Also another bizarre rule. In basketball, that's not the case. If you play at all, the red shirt comes off, and that's what they're saying here. Red shirt rules still apply, and in basketball, you burn the red shirt the second you play in a game, and that's the season of eligibility piece of legislation that the NCAA claims is still in effect even after this court order.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what that means, Tony, now the player, it's back to the player having to say, are you willing to risk a year of eligibility to play in 1, 2, or 3 games over this 14-day period? That's a really hard decision for a student athlete to have to make that call right now without knowing whether this waiver will continue to exist or if it will get abolished when the hearing comes up on the 27th. So that's where you're stuck. You're back to maybe some players will say, I'm okay with it. I'll roll the dice. Let me play. And if it costs me a year of eligibility, so be it. But there's certainly going to be others that aren't going to be willing to roll that dice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's an odd decision, isn't it? That seems an odd interpretation of the ruling that came down yesterday.
Yeah, it's super odd. All right, so this is, as we say, this is fluid. I'm texting as well some folks that would be involved as well. I want to see if there's any clarification as to whether they can do anything on this. All right, so.
Real quick, one last thing. This would seemingly create some PR issues, I would think, for the NCAA here. I think this isn't going to be, people are just going to say, yeah, okay. I think this is going to, This is going to get loud here over the next few hours, I think.
Mm-hmm. It'll be really interesting to see what happens here. Never boring. So, we do know this, that Kirk Carissa will play for WVU on Saturday against UMass. We'll talk about those numbers and what that all means coming up in just a little bit. We can either do this now, we'll do basketball now, and then we'll do football, but a consensus All-American status, which is just an off-the-chart thing, for WVU cornerback Beanie Bishop, the transfer from Minnesota who has been racking up All-American honors over the last 10 days, 2 weeks. Today got another, which put him over the top. Is it 5?
5, correct.
You got to hit 5 specific ones to gain a consensus status, and he did. And that is the tall cotton. Pretty amazing story. Pretty amazing story when you go back and think about it. Here's a kid that hadn't been in the program. He transfers in from Minnesota. Let's say, I think collectively, the back half of that defense really struggled early. The Penn State game and the Duquesne game, despite the score in the Duquesne game, there was still some like, whoa, things. But they fixed it, and statistically, he had himself a year, and he earns that honor. So congratulations to Beanie Bishop, and also congratulations to Mike Montoro. And you might say, like, well, who's Mike Montoro? Well, these things don't happen just by people looking at the numbers. You got to have people out there stating your case for you. Mike Montoro is the sports information director in charge of WVU football, and he has had great success through the years of shepherding players to get individual awards. So shout out to Big Mike for getting another one of these. For an SID, this is kind of like a silver bullet in your belt. It's like, that's a big deal.
This is the 13th consensus All-American for West Virginia. Do I have that right in the first since Darius Stills got it just a couple of seasons ago? You said it. What a remarkable story for Beanie Bishop, and came along at a time and at a position of real need. You know, we sat here in August and said, okay, who are your starting corners going to be this year? What's that defensive backfield look like as it gets rebuilt? And it was rebuilt in part with Beanie Bishop. Malachi Ruffin was really good on the other side as well. But how about Beanie Bishop? Comes in as a transfer and not only walks into a starting role, which would have been great, then ends up all Big 12, would have been great. Ends up as an All-American, awesome. A consensus All-American, remarkable at a position of real need this past year.
All right. Real quick, back over to basketball. So I asked someone in the know, can you go back to the judge now and get a clarification? He said, the season of eligibility is a different bylaw that could not be attacked in this temporary restraining order. So in other words, it's in, if I'm reading that correctly, they can do what they're saying because it wasn't specifically in that temporary restraining order.
So this is where I would go back to, and we're addressing this in real time here, so bear with me, but that would seem to me, the judge specifically issued that order so that there wouldn't be penalties. They now are saying, the NCAA, they won't penalize the school and vacate wins, but they'll still go after the player's eligibility potentially? That seems to be at odds for what you're intending. You're not going to go after the school in terms of a vacated win, but you're still going to affect their eligibility. This would seem to me one of those cases where if you're the NCAA, you might want to just say, you know what, for 14 days, we're not sure.
Or let me ask you this. Does this thumbing of the nose at the court, because if that was Judge Bailey's intent, to not to have them be punished, if the NCAA is thumbing their nose at the court right now saying, we don't care, they're going to lose Navy. Now, on the 27th of December, you think that might pertain into the judge's ruling?
I don't know how that works. I would think it would. I don't know how it couldn't.
Or does the NCAA already know they lost?
Maybe, but this seems to me to be another example of when the NCAA takes its rules and has to speak to a broader audience about its rules. The court cases have shown people go, what are you talking about? What do you mean that's the rule? You can't do that. This would seem to me to be one of those times when you go, what? What do you mean you're still going to try and penalize the kids? We just had an order that said don't penalize them. Let them play. This seems to be, this is an unusual, that's a nice word, an unusual ruling or clarification from the NCAA right now.
Okay.
Keep an eye on that. This one stuns me.
You know, this would be one thing if this was just regular sports line, because it just kind of gets flushed pretty quick. But this show's going to last for a long time. Like, we might come out of this looking really, really dumb.
Maybe.
Like 6 months from now, when people go back and listen to that mailman down in southern West Virginia, he goes back and listens. Man, were those guys off on that?
Very well. Could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be.
All right. So this is what we know. Kirk Carice is playing on Saturday. First time this season.
Yes.
Game number 10 for the Mountaineers. What does it mean? What does it mean? It's time for...
Let's go right to the numbers.
Spreads on Stats.
Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Ready? 5, 4, 3.
Spreads on Stats is brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They provide complete service, public accounting, and consultation. They've been serving clients throughout the state of West Virginia and surrounding states since 1985, and they do provide value beyond the numbers. So much more than just filling out forms and returns. They are your partners side by side. They walk with you in your business to figure out the best solutions that you can put together to, obviously, be the most efficient that you can as a business. That's translated to be keep as much money as you possibly can. I think that's probably fair, isn't it?
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's what we all want to do. Auditing, insurance, tax planning, preparation, consulting, and of course the very, very fun hot topic of remote CFOs. They'll come right in there, just be your CFO. They don't take a parking space. They don't take an office.
Just handle it.
Don't leave crumbs in your break room.
Or steal food out of the fridge.
Steal food out of the fridge. They're not a problem. One less one less gift you have to give during Christmas exchange, right? So, Conley CPA Group. Okay. So what was your approach on this one? Are you going which direction? Are you doing a standard, okay, if West Virginia plays UMass, it's this, and now West Virginia's playing with Kirk Risa, here's what's going to change?
No, I thought I'd do it a couple ways. First, let's talk Krisa in particular, what he brings to this team. Then we can get into a UMass scouting report on what they like to do. So we'll do it kind of in two parts. Ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
So let's talk Krisa specifically and what West Virginia gets back with him in the lineup. And it's a guy, Tony, we've said this a bunch, he's going to look to pass. He's a true pass-first point guard and really does so effortlessly. It's not a guy that has to think about his passes. And we watched practice the other day, and what'd you say when we walked out of there? There were 3 or 4 passes that he made that you just haven't seen. You don't see very often. He's able to find guys cutting, moving to the basket. Great eye. He's gonna distribute the ball really well. Led the Pac-12 in assists. We know that. We've talked about that a bunch. Here's some deep numbers. He assisted last year at Arizona on 26% of his teammates' baskets last season, which is in the upper 5 or so guys in the Pac-12. That's a big number. Nearly 1/3 of the possessions he was on the floor ended in an assist. That's in the 96th percentile last year while playing at Arizona. He was nearly 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio for a guy that led Arizona in usage rate. So he was on the floor a lot. He had the ball a ton, and he was still a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. So I think instantly ball movement, ability to find guys that are open, ability to draw defense in, kick to open guys, Krisa helps that immediately when he hits the floor. Here's the other part, though, for this particular West Virginia team. You're going to need him to score for you as well. We know West Virginia needs scoring help, specifically shooting help. Now, he'll take threes. 78% of his field goal attempts last year were threes, and he hit a really nice 37% of those. So he'll shoot the three, and he can make the three. That's going to help West Virginia and benefit with an additional outside shooter that is mixed into this lineup. Here's another area where Krisa should help. I'm anxious to watch this. Pick and rolls take on a little different feel.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I've never been more excited or amped up about a pick and roll in my life. I mean, because I've seen a couple of them in practice, and it's like, ooh, it's basketball symphony.
It's a different deal. Last year at Arizona, this was Krisa's most frequent play type. It was also the most frequent play type when he played for Estonia last year. So he likes the pick and roll, and it makes a lot of sense, right? You're going to get Jesse Edwards a big. You're going to bring him up. You're going to take a ball-handling, pass-first point guard in Krisa and let him go to work. Now make the defense make a decision. What are you going to do? You're going to come off Edwards and try and stop Krisa, allowing Edwards a path to the basket. Lobs become available. You're going to stay on Edwards and let Krisa try and get by you. Now, add into this. Play this out. Those are two good options. Either he takes a shot, Krisa does, or gives it to Edwards. What's the other option? He goes by you, and you have to come help. A help defender comes off the wing, kick it. Quinn Slazinski should get some open looks off a kick, off a pick and roll. So I think West Virginia, which hasn't done a ton of that this year, just got a new play type put back into its offense because of the skill set of Kirk Krisa here. I think this is big.
Yeah, I do too. That's a huge part of the game. Now let's also talk about physical conditioning. I know you have more numbers coming up. But we were talking about this, like what is the realistic number of minutes that he could or should be expected to play since he hasn't played? Well, he has practiced. Okay, so he is going up and down the floor, but there is a significant difference between practice and games. As Allen Iverson would say, I mean, we're talking about practice. What changes? Your adrenaline changes because it's not you playing against your teammates. It's real game competition. There's people in the crowd. Normally there are people in the crowd. There's people in the stands. And everything gets amped up, including your adrenaline. So when your adrenaline starts to get higher and spikes, your respiration increases, everything changes. So that's not to say that he can't play, 30 minutes. But perhaps the first time he goes out there, it might be for a shorter period. If he starts, I don't know. But early on in the game, I would imagine he will be amped, and you're probably not going to get the flow of regular that you're going to see from him as the season goes
So
on.
maybe have the water bottle ready when that adrenaline kicks, and then Craters give him a little drink and get back in.
Yeah.
It's a good point, but I think that discussion lends itself to the next piece of this is let's talk about what this does for Kobe Johnson, a guy that has gone from not used a whole lot to your main guys, played the most minutes on the team so far, and that's performed pretty well. One of 3 guys in double figures. He himself with a nearly 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. So does this make Kobe Johnson even more effective? Because theoretically you're going to lessen his minute load, which should allow him to go even harder in the time that he's in there. You heard Josh talk about it the other night on the post-game radio show. He talked about maybe this allows Kobe Johnson to focus a little more defensively on the other team's best guard because you're not as worried about foul trouble, about wearing him out as much because he doesn't have to run the offense like he has up to this point. So you'd like to think as much as you've got out of Kobe Johnson so far, you're going to continue to use him and add some depth, but does it even help Johnson more because he's not required to play 39 and a half minutes?
I truly think it does.
How can it not, right?
I truly think that and again, I haven't talked with him, but I would think he feels that his role now is better suited for him than having to be the guy that's carrying the whole thing on his shoulders. I think now he can kind of say, okay, I know my niche. I know what I got to do here. I can be productive.
And he's gained some confidence.
Sure.
There's no doubt he feels a lot better about his game than he may have over the last couple of years. All right, keep going. Play it forward. Seth Wilson's role now. You've had to ask Seth Wilson to handle the ball a bunch over these first 9 games, which probably isn't ideal for Seth. Now he goes back into a role where you can rely on him to hunt shots a little bit more. Run some sets for Seth Wilson like you did early in that game when he came in, and you get a guy back that can get red hot from the outside as a shooter. So maybe because you're not asking Seth Wilson to do so many things offensively, and he gets back to more his niche of being a shooter, maybe your outside shooting increases because of that as well. So I think there's some ripple effects to Kriisa, not just the obvious depth and talent that he brings, but freeing up a couple of other guys that had to do a little more than you would normally ask them. They can go back to their more natural roles.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. I told you the show's fluid, right?
You got more news?
Yeah, because I've got, as you well know, I got a problem with attention.
Yeah,
So I'll be honest. I haven't been listening to you.
I knew.
Because I wanted to see what was going on out there after this came out from the NCAA. And so a couple of people that I follow, obviously Ross Dellinger, he writes, the NCAA provides clarity on a lingering issue. An athlete who competes in a game over the next 14 days will lose a season of eligibility if the court's ruling is reversed, then it counts. And then he goes on to say, an important note here. Like any NCAA decision or rule around an active court case, the judge will have an interpretation in this matter, which is what I was saying. Like,
right.
I think I stated it less eloquently by saying, can't you go to the judge and ask him exactly? And then Mitt Winter of Winter Sports Law, he's a really good follow because he played at William & Mary and he is into this space. He said, this is what he said. The NCAA now says a multi-time transfer who plays during the 14-day TRO uses a year of eligibility if the order is reversed. That's what the NCAA is saying. He comes back and says, this would essentially be mooted, made quiet, by entry of a preliminary injunction on 27 of December, since it would likely be in place for months. Then he says this, court probably will weigh in here.
Yeah, because the court, I think as we were saying, right, isn't the court going to say, hold on here?
Yeah.
That was not our intention.
Yeah. And as we record, Judge Bailey's probably in the office now. I mean, he might, I don't know.
Might be listening.
He might be over there at Figueretti's getting a late lunch. He could be over there at the Coleman Fish Place getting something over there, right? Maybe down there at Hole and Run, Eric Stakem, maybe getting a new pair of jogging shoes are up there. But he might get a phone call that says, Judge, can you come back in here? And they need a little clarification on exactly what you meant. So again, it's Thursday afternoon. The good news is West Virginia doesn't play tonight, and they don't play tomorrow. And the players in question travel regardless. All you have to do is Kyle Kessler, the equipment guy, he just needs to make sure that he just brings their uniform.
I was just going to say, make sure the uniform's packed and your shoes are packed and ready to go.
Kyle will have those in
on
there.
it. Yeah,
Kyle will have those in there.
He's on it.
Absolutely. Okay, go ahead. I'll pay attention to
So
you.
should I save my Raekwon Battle
No, put it
numbers
in.
until
Put it in.
later?
No, put it
Or do
in.
you want to talk about what he gives you? How about I just give a couple?
I'm an optimistic person. I just have a feeling that these 7 attorneys general are going to go back and go, what?
I tend to agree. This will surprise me if they're able to keep the penalty legislation in there. It really will. And again, as you said, you may listen to this in 2 days and go, "You clowns didn't know what you were talking about." Okay, fine.
You ever watch
It
on
seems odd.
You ever watch on YouTube's those videos that say bully gets owned? You ever watch those?
Yeah, those are kind of fun.
Like the guy walks up, he's a bully, he's going to beat someone up. Like I just think like
he picks the wrong guy.
yeah, the NCAA is like bully gets owned here pretty soon because I think like they're coming out going like, "Oh yeah, you're going to lose your eligibility," and the judge is going to go like, "Oh really? Here, good. Thanks for having us."
Agree. This will be a thanks for having us. Agree.
Yeah.
All right,
go
well, let's
ahead.
do a little Raekwon Battle just in anticipation if he is available for Saturday and does play. Would you say you were the more excited for a pick and roll than you've ever been?
Yeah, I've never been more. Now listen, I'm a big fan of it. The backdoor cut and the pick and roll.
Yeah.
Those are art in basketball. And yeah, I've been hyped up. I've been hyped up to watch Kirk Carissa and Jesse Edwards pick and roll.
You know who's really good as a pick and roll ball handler as well?
Who that?
That'd be one Raekwon Battle.
He likes it too.
He does it too, and he brings a little different element, as I'll get into. He's a really good mid-range 2-point type of guy. Likes to get to the rim, likes to hit the 2. Now you put some more stress on the defense there as you start to decide, are you hedging this screen? What are you going to do with this? And he just pulls up from you from the elbow and knocks one in. So keep an eye on him. He's also very good off of screens, something West Virginia hasn't done a ton of this year, but can when Battle gets back in. Here's what's also interesting about his game. Last year, now keep last year's stats in check here because he was likely the best player on the floor most of the time.
Right.
So some of this may bout. He is nearly dead even when he drives left or right. He can go either way. So how do you want to guard him? You want to try and force him to one side of the floor? Whatever. I'll go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Dead even which way he goes. Again, very good in the mid-range game, likes to go to the rim, can pull up in the paint, and then can hit from all spots. Again, it makes sense for a guy that can go left or right. Every spot, every zone you identify inside the three-point line, he's good from. He's going to give you a really good 2-point mid-range game. Here's where I think if you want to push ahead and look at style of offense with Carissa, and if Battle comes back, even if it's for just a couple of games, you become such more diverse and difficult to prepare for. So not only can you get in and run more sets, we just talked about off-screen, pick and roll takes a step up with both these guys. How about your late clock, shot clock game situations here? You get down to the final few seconds of a shot clock and you're having trouble. Raekwon Battle's the kind of guy, give me the ball and get out of the way. I'll get a good shot for you in the final 4 seconds of the clock. So that improves.
You know why? He's got great elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So from wherever he is on the floor, he's one of those dudes that he can just go straight up, elevate wonderfully, and he can get a shot.
Here's what else this does. You know who else this helps if you get both of them back? And never mind Noah Farrakhan. I mean, that's a whole nother element that we'll talk about later. But you could potentially be with 3 guys that you didn't have that are all very good. Not just bodies, but very good. You know who else is helped by this? 2 guys in particular, but one I think stands above the rest that's really helped. Jesse Edwards. Get some people off him in the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Defense has to come out and guard these other players. Jesse Edwards should be able to cook inside with not so much even posts up one-on-one, but how about his ability to get to the offensive glass when defenders are drawn away from the basket. So these 2 are potentially really massive. Here's the last part if you're able to get both of these guys. It now gives you, with Carissa and if Battle becomes eligible, scores at all 3 levels on the floor. You add a 3-point shooter in Kirk Carissa. Not that Raekwon can't hit him, but that's not his main game. Carissa adds another shooter. Raekwon gives you a deadly mid-range pull-up game and a get-to-the-basket, drive-to-the-hoop type of guy. And now Jesse Edwards is freed up inside to work inside the post or right at the rim. All 3 levels, you're equipped with a high-level Big 12 player now.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely right. You did a nice job on these.
Thank you. Very excited about these 2 being back in, as you can tell.
Hoppy here today, or?
Yeah, I think, is he not over there? I didn't notice. Not here?
There it is. Once again, an empty seat.
On assignment.
Yeah.
All right. You want a couple quick UMass things while we're here? Do we have other breaking news in the last 2 minutes?
This is good. I mean, this is all good stuff. Go ahead.
All right, let's talk UMass specifically for a second. You're going to get a Minutemen team. This is the highest rated KenPom team that UMass has played this year. So their best win is against 138 in the KenPom ratings, UMass Lowell. West Virginia comes in around that 128 mark. Watch a good big-on-big matchup. We've said this now a couple of times.
Yeah.
6'10 Josh Cohen, 18 points, 8 rebounds for UMass going against Jesse Edwards. So that'll be fun to watch. This won't surprise you from a Frank Martin team. 20th nationally in offensive rebounding. So they're going to get on the offensive glass. But here's what you watch for West Virginia. They give those up to the opponent. 300th nationally on the defensive rebounding side. West Virginia should be able to sneak in there, get some putback situations. UMass so far, very good guarding the 2. 24th nationally in opponent field goal percentage. So if Battle is eligible and plays, watch that particular matchup. Mid-range type shots going against their defense. Here's a key. UMass should put West Virginia on the line.
Yes.
They're 334th nationally in opponent free throw rate. So we've talked a bunch over the last few years, this year included. Didn't happen against Drexel, but West Virginia has been getting to the free throw line a bunch. UMass should put you on the line as well. All right, go to some specifics for UMass. Offensively, they're very good at the pick and roll game. You would expect that with a good big, right? Mm-hmm. So keep an eye on that. 1.4 points per possession when they go into a pick and roll. That's very good. They score 63% of the time when they go to that set. Now, they haven't ran it a ton. They haven't gone to that a ton, but they're very effective when they do it. They like to post up, and they want to get to the rim. 40% of their shot attempts are at the rim. 50% of their points come in the paint. You would expect that when their leading scorers are big. So keep an eye on the paint matchup. May determine the winner tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah, good point. And throw in the fact, add this one in here, a cook, right? Mm-hmm. Playing 2 hours away from home. He's from New Hampshire. I've never been to New Hampshire. It's one of the few states I haven't been to. Haven't been to Maine, Vermont, or New Hampshire up in that piece. You been to those three?
You're light in New England.
Yeah, and the Dakotas too.
Where haven't you been? I've been to both Dakotas. Where have you been? Not in New England? Vermont?
Haven't.
No.
Maine? No.
No.
New Hampshire?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No, and that's especially bad for I lived in New England there for a couple of years. Didn't get to any of this.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's 2 hours away where he's from in New Hampshire, and he's a defensive presence, obviously, and so that also helps West Virginia out where they hadn't been down low in the previous games before his return.
Yeah, you're right. And it two different options. With their big, with UMass's good big, you either have a second really long, tall defender in a Cook helping out Edwards, which makes it really difficult on their big, or if Edwards has to come out either for a break or foul trouble, you can still bring in another guy that can match him length and size-wise. So yeah, I think we talked about it on Monday. A Cook gives you a ton of options, and as he continues to play his way into shape, you'll see him get more and more minutes.
I talked to him earlier this week. You know, he's got a unique name, right? Twice. It's a Cook. And it just makes you want to say a Cook.
I think I always say it together. I think I always give you the a Cook.
Yeah. So I asked him about that. So where did it come from? Apparently grandfather. He was born in Egypt. Came to the United States when he was 10 months old. Born in Cairo. And so he's raised here in the United States. Believes it was his grandfather was a Cook. And I said, so what do you, like, what should I call you here? And so it varies. And AK. AK.
Okay.
He responds well to that.
Okay.
And also just take the off. Just call him Cook.
Josh goes with the Cook a lot. Josh Eilert gives you a lot of Cook.
Yeah, Cook.
Okay.
So he's good with either of those. And I said, how about if I say
Can we still continue to say a Cook though, just because I like saying it, or no?
I think I will. I get caught into that.
Yeah.
Like think about it, really, you got a JoJo and then a Cook. You don't come across a double. I mean, that's like Siamese twins. And I said, how about if I say a Cook is cooking? He said, oh, I like that. So I said, well, Cook, and I'll say it, Cook. If you're a business owner, you ever get bummed out when some of your folks that you work for you say, well, I didn't get that voicemail. You left me a voicemail? I didn't get the voicemail. Well, folks at Comax Business Systems can make sure they can't say that. anymore. They have just tremendous selections of digital phone services, small to big. I mean, from 1 to 1,000 phone lines. Comax's digital phone systems are competitively priced, and yes, they are efficient so that calls make their way to the right person. Ultimately, great phone systems save your company money because you get better business and you do better business well. You can call Comax Business Systems for a free quote today. Comax Business Systems. Well, that was really good, by the way.
Thank you.
You
A lot of numbers there. A lot of numbers.
Well, there's so much variance into what you're doing today. I mean, you don't know who's eligible, who's not eligible, who's going to play. They're going to play this year, not going to play this year.
I think you can see, though, what it does is what you would think, right? Sometimes we take these numbers and we're down in the weeds. Now let's back up and look at it from up above. It clearly gives you just so many more options, especially offensively. Never mind the defensive side, but just offensively from bodies and substitution, just different types of sets you can run. So the hope would be getting Kreisabak's big. Hopefully you can see those other guys play as well, even if it's in a short-term situation. Why are you wincing? I was just about to say it'd be nice if you could get them both back, and as it's coming out of my mouth, you're wincing.
Well, it wasn't a wince of malice or displeasure. It was, as you said, what did you say earlier? You said, I think this thing in the next couple of hours is going to get juicy.
Yeah,
okay.
So people are coming out firing now, right?
Yeah. Patrick Morrissey has come out, and he says, based on the NCAA's belief that they can kill a kid's eligibility for a year if they play in these 14 days, from his formerly known as Twitter account, now X. This is ridiculous and completely contrary to the spirit of the court's order.
Thank you.
Let the kids play.
Thank you.
How brutal can you be to these student athletes? So apparently Judge Bailey, whether he's at Figs, whether he's over at Coleman's, wherever he is, he just might be just heading home or something. You got to give him a call, get him back in the office.
He might need those running shoes from Eric Stakem over at Hole and Run to run down and clarify this thing.
Yeah.
I'm just, right? We opened the show with it. It's one of those things, say it out loud. There's no way that was the intention, was to further penalize these these student athletes if they play. There's no way that was the answer. Well, if we keep going here long enough, we'll come full circle on the whole show.
Well, the reason I'm hesitant a little bit to say common sense will prevail is because I've got RSS.
Excuse me?
I've got self-diagnosed RSS. It's called replay stress syndrome. Every time in a game, football or basketball, where they go to the replay monitor, I'll look at the play and go, well, there's no question. Like, he's out of bounds, or the ball hit the cylinder, it didn't hit the cylinder, shot clock. Like, I'm like 1 for 272 on the season. And so that's why I'm kind of holding myself back, going, it's common sense. Yeah, the court's going to say, that's not what I meant. They're eligible, and you're not going to punish them.
It's not what he meant. I
know it's not what he meant. This has been a weird, interesting show on a show that's really freaking weird to begin with. Like, if we say it's weird, Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by GoMart. Go for good times. Go for GoMart. Please do get that rewards card. Why, you say? Well, because it saves you money. Saves you money on food, saves you money on fuel. And check this bad boy up. You can unwrap sweet rewards at the GoMart. This holiday season, you can sweeten your day. Bonus points every time you purchase specially marked M&M's products at GoMart stores during Winterland. So you can earn Winterland game tokens every time you buy an M&M's product there with the purchase of every product. And then all the way up until the 31st of this month, you collect all 5 of those game tokens, which isn't hard to do. You get 2,500 bonus points on your card. The best part? No limit to how many times you can do it. Don't let the magical offer melt away. Visit the GoMart app or GoMart.com to learn more. So that's on the M&M products. So you can go in and buy some and pick up your tokens, right? Then you can turn around, walk back out, come back in, get a different M&M's item, and check out. Might be the same cashier, and they go like, weren't you just here? You go like, yeah, but there's no limit on how many times I can come through. And they say, sure.
Is M&M's going to step up with and get bigger and bigger packaging like Reese's has done? Because we could use those like big tubs of M&M's.
Wouldn't that be great if M&M's made a peanut M&M as big as a country ham?
Well, no, I don't think I want one.
I do, because I want
I just want the container to have a bunch of them. What are you going to do with the one? You can't slice it.
Well, I'll tell you what I want.
It'll shoot out all over.
No, that's exactly what I want. I want an M&M about as big as a ham, about an 8-pound, 10-pound ham, and then like the whole thing. I want a peanut, and then a big peanut M&M, and I want to have like a rubber mallet.
Yeah, I was going to say you're going to need a mallet.
I just want to hit it with a rubber mallet, watch it unfold. Then you just break away the pieces and you eat pieces of the pieces.
I don't think it can be divided up as smoothly as the big giant Reese cup.
Oh no way! It's a whole different animal. It'd be more organic than that. Later in the program, wait to see these Reese's. I never saw this. We got a picture.
By the way, we are big fans of M&Ms too.
Oh yeah,
well documented.
We're also fans of Harry and David pears. Rick Scher, thank you, brother. He said we got 9 more of those Harry and David pears.
Where are they? Where are you hiding them?
Upstairs.
I need one. Did you take the gold wrapped one?
No, you know who did?
Kercheval already got it again?
Nope. Lohman. Dan Lohman, the Emmy Award winner, walked in my office and said, "Can I have a pear?" I said, "Yeah, hey, I have a pear. No problem." You think which one's he
went
take?
right for the shiny special one?
He took the gold foil the pear.
How about that?
I mean, that's not his style normally.
That's normally not his style.
No, he's normally back.
We were going to say Kercheval reappeared for about 10 minutes to steal this foil one.
No, didn't see that. I was surprised to see old Kirchenbaum. All right, so you ready to do some stuff here? What do you say we do a little textual healing? Yeah. I'm trying to, three guys before the game, textual healing brought to us by episode800.com. Episode800.com. Christmas quickly approaching. That still means you still have opportunity. I know on certain things we said, hey, to make sure 1,000% that by the Christmas time day that you have your stuff ordered before December the 10th. That is true. That is true. However, I mean, it's not to say that now there's probably a good chance you're still going to get stuff before Christmas, but now we can't guarantee it. But there's still a pretty good chance, right?
So you still order.
Dave was here earlier, our guy, and he said, yeah, you could still order. They're going to make a Star City delivery of popcorn, I think, like every day this week.
Yeah, I think he was on his way over when we talked to him.
Yeah.
So things are going out today.
So you can still order stuff. And look, if it doesn't come before Christmas, that's cool, because like you can just say, hey, I bought this for New Year's for you. That works just as well.
As a random nice gift.
As a random gift.
Sure.
Visit episode800.com. All of our stuff, foods. Boy, the coffee's going well.
Coffee's going well. In fact, had a friend, I think Luke's got this picture, had a friend that was over there this morning, Thursday, over to Rusty's. He had just restocked the shelf with the supply of That's a really good picture, too.
Got the corn there, too.
It's well done.
Really nice.
So there was some, he just put some more out in packaging. It's on the shelves there at Mountaineer Roasting here in Morgantown.
I've said this once and I'll say it again, then we'll get into these textual things, but I was having our game day grind this morning.
Hold on real quick. What's that? Is that like oats? Oats on the right? That's something you'd eat. Is there like oats with fruit in there?
Yeah, it does look like yogurt
right?
with fruit in it, yeah. But I was drinking the coffee this morning and just forgetting what I was drinking, just drinking. And I went like, man, this is really good. And I went, oh, it's our coffee. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's a very, just like the beer, the Kercheval, it's very drinkable.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
That's what my friend pointed out, has those hints of chocolate and caramel in there. Just
together.
Just the hints. Well, you mix chocolate and caramel together, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, do you need me to read these so you can keep an eye and see if Judge Bailey has reemerged or the NCAA comes in?
Why don't you do this?
No.
You start looking at the phone and I'll do these.
Okay.
Hey, three guys, question. This is JR in Elkview. Who is exactly the NCAA and who gives them the authority over the schools and players? Do the schools, ADs, get any say in their rules? Also, with current failures of the NCAA, do you see the conferences separating? Thanks for answering, JR in Elkview. So, it's a good, fair question. Who exactly is the NCAA? The NCAA, the members are the schools. They are the schools. The people that create the rules are the presidents and, yes, the athletic directors in concert with their presidents as to what they feel is needed. So the members are the schools. Do the schools' ADs get to say in the rules? Yeah, the ADs will give their thoughts and opinions to their leadership of the schools, And sometimes the ADs go into these meetings, and sometimes it's the presidents that are in these meetings, but ultimately it's the schools that make the rules and the schools that vote on the rules. With the current failures of the NCAA, do you see the conferences separating? They're potentially, they are trying for that not to happen in a self-survival mode. Charlie Baker, the head of the NCAA, just last week issued a letter of what the future could look like in which the big schools from the power conferences would have their own separate set of rules and abide by their own rules that would pertain and be safer and better for them, because there are a lot of institutions in these power conferences that have no comparison whatsoever to lower level schools that financially can't stay up with them, and as a result they vote against things that the big schools want because the smaller schools don't have the money, and so the big schools get upset, and that's why the NCAA is saying, okay, instead of you guys breaking away, let's try this. We'll create a whole separate world for you guys, and you can have your own rules. Texter. Beautiful views in Burlington, Kaiser, New Creek, Elk Garden Fountain, a natural spring right down the hill from Coach Beiser's parents' house. My grandma was a Beiser. I'd love to take you guys back on a back road tour. Nancy Hanks Cottage, the Pinnacle, Saddle Mountain, Jennings Randolph Lake, etc., etc. Yeah, we're in for that. We'll have to wait till the winter's over. We don't travel in the cold. Texter, Tony's assumption is correct. December 8th, the earliest sunset of the year, while the daylight time continues to decrease as the sunrise is advanced for another 2 weeks. So, by the way, I cannot remember how many longs and shorts were our ring, but I do recall our home phone number was Warwood 108M. Our nearest neighbor was Warwood 108R. We could ask the number, please, operator, to ring R on the line to get a hold of them. One-digit dialing. Alan from Amarillo.
Very nice.
Been to Amarillo once for basketball with the women's team back in the 1980s. Saw a guy eat a 72-ounce steak, which was really a small roast. You eat that roast steak, you get it for free. Dude took it down in Amarillo. Hello. Texter. 3 guys, I'm befuddled.
Oh.
As a kid that was born in Talcott, West Virginia in 1978, grew up there, played basketball, baseball for the Talcott Junior High Pirates, which my parents still live there. I'm beside myself that 2/3 of you could not pronounce Talcott correctly. Thank you to the gentleman senator from Iowa who knew how to, and the lone West Virginia in the room didn't know where Talcott was. Are you kidding me? John Henry, the steel-driving man legend, took place there. Not in Hinton, Talcott. Pronounced Talcott. And it's one word. Say it fast. Talcott. Home of the Pirates, Greenbrier River, Big Bend Tunnel. John Henry Days takes place there every June. Home of the best Mountaineer fans in southern West Virginia, the most sneezed in and coughed in pocket hankies around. Love the show. Thank you for keeping this lifelong Mountaineer fan in the know from Tampa to now Columbia, South Carolina, by the way of Talcott, West Virginia. There you go. Shout out Talcott. FYI, Tony. Stephen, not Kale. What I was talking about last episode, that's called a herald trumpet. Remember I said we should get one of those
with
guys
the banner that drops
with
down?
the banner that drops down. That's called a herald trumpet.
Okay, good. Learned something. Thank you.
So maybe he'll blow that horn once, or maybe he'll blow it thrice on Saturday. Texter.
Well, I mean, if we get this eligibility thing taken care of, I mean, I'd like to see Raekwon Battle take off on his first fast break, dribbling in one hand and playing one of those trumpets. What are they called?
A herald trumpet.
A herald trumpet in
Makes
the other.
sense why they would call it a herald trumpet, because you're heralding something coming. Texter, please have Quinn Slazinski on the podcast. He's the best player interview we've had in many years, slightly edging out Coach Stevenson.
Ooh, high praise.
Ooh, that is tall cotton.
Quinn is
there.
a good interview.
Yeah, we could probably do that. Texter, breakfast recommendation for the folks going to Charlotte. It's called Snooze. What's not to like? Breakfast and booze. Try the sweet potato pancakes. They're the bomb. You know, a lot of food recommendations for Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Text from Ryan, P7 listener, your friendly neighborhood veterinarian, originally from Weirton, now in Covington, Kentucky. There you go. Hey, 3 guys, I sent an unhappy text after the Oklahoma State game when I was frustrated. It seems now that Coach Brown has it going in the right direction. I'm still holding out hope that he can get us ranked in the top 25. I'm sorry, Neil. After Brad's talk last week about his roots in Iowa, I wanted to share an anecdote. I was in the Army, deployed to the Middle East, Egypt, during the magical 2007 season. Pretty much missed it all. Somehow, I was attached to a National Guard unit out of Iowa. There were 8 to 10 active duty medical officers attached to a 350-person National Guard unit from Iowa. Through many a night of cards, traveling aimlessly through Israel and Egypt, meaninglessly physical activity competitions, drinking and laughing, I learned that West Virginia is still the greatest state in the Union, but Iowa is a close second, despite never actually stepping foot in that state. I handed out 10 WVU T-shirts and returned home with 3 Hawkeye T-shirts, and Iowa will forever be my second favorite college. They were a fantastic bunch of folks, except when they coalesced into their scooter gangs and sped around our fortified camp, knocking over garbage cans while doing kickflips on their pink motorized scooter designed for a 9-year-old. I will forever value my time with the Iowa guys and will forever be amazed at their perpetual ability to create fun and laugh. P.S. Shout out to Brad Richardson from Caldwell, Ohio. Played baseball at Ohio University, grew up a Buckeye, now a devoted Mountaineer fan, 3 Gays fan. That's nice. So we like the people from Iowa.
Sure. I've said many times, very similar. Very similar people.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that in the fan bases, right?
Sure. Yeah, passionate.
Passionate, very loyal.
Happy holidays, 3 guys and all listeners. Brad, when your lawn expert entered the transfer portal, did he write a letter to you about how great you were and your lawn was, only to end it with that being said, I'm entering the portal? A lot of guys use that at the end of their post when they transfer. I think we should call this the with that being said era of college football. Love the show, Kevin in Princeton.
That is the standard line.
Yeah. Texter, hey, El Senatore, would this deliver on the peanut butter to chocolate ratio? That's a pound of Reese's goodness. That's Miguel from Manassas Park.
Oh, good one.
That's a big Santa.
Yeah. Yep, I think that would work.
Wonder if he's
Probably
wearing,
a solid ratio there.
Wonder if he's wearing those Reese Cup Santa boots.
Very well could be. Probably. That's probably where they got them.
Mm-hmm. Just decapitated him right there. Hey, 3 guys. Tyler from Mineral County. I'm a top 7% Spotify listener, 4th-time texter.
Thank you.
I'm watching the Santa's boot episode. My wife and daughter happened to come in as Tony unveiled the boot on TV, and they looked at each other simultaneously and said, that's not a boot, that's a stocking. When Tony realized his mistake, they both lost it. Then they sat down and watched the rest of the show. Guys, I have a T-shirt idea. How about, with all due respect, I've included a picture of me with a hard-to-find Kercheval in the original 3 Guys shirt. Thanks for the show.
Does he have an original?
Look at that.
He does have an original. I thought we have a With All Due Respect T-shirt. Do we not?
Probably. You know, that logo, that probably needs to come back.
The original shirt?
In some form.
Oh, I agree. It can be a retro shirt now. Absolutely.
We can have multi-logos.
Yeah,
that's
of course
probably,
we do.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That's one of the originals.
That's more of a, having fun time. Stephen and Eleanor, I enjoyed the story about Zach Spiker leaving you hanging after Dre Bly's interception in the Gator Bowl. Growing up, I used to record every West Virginia game. I got so angry after that interception, I stopped the recording, ejected the VHS, went outside and placed the tape on the back porch like it was in timeout. I somehow ended up being a semi-productive member of society.
Put the tape in timeout.
Took the time. Dre Bly intercepts. He takes the tape out so he can't record it anymore, puts it outside. You're a Mountaineer, Stephen.
That's awesome.
Philip from Philippi. I have another shot at home victories. Come back when you can stay longer. 3 longs, 2 shorts out. I should give up on this. I love the show. Thanks, guys. Texter was just catching up on episode 510, and I caught the old mascot Jonathan's cameo, so I have to share this story. My wife and I are in a crowded Philadelphia tavern watching a big Mountaineer basketball game. Bartender says, hey, there's a Mountaineer fan down there on the other end watching. We wave at him. He joins us for the game. Tells us he's the Mountaineer mascot in waiting.
Oh.
He was in town with friends who attended a concert, and he skipped the show to watch the game. Sweet. Gotta love those unexpected Mountaineer encounters. Dan, Annapolis, Maryland via Beckley. So that was like he was in his engagement mode before he took over as the Mountaineer.
Sure.
Michael in Culloden. I won't speak of the party lines. We had a private line when I was young, but I'll say this. It was a long-distance call if you wanted to talk to someone who lived 12 miles away. How about that? Peanut butter fudge is coming your way soon.
Oh.
And since Scopes doesn't share well, I'll send 3 individual containers. As always, please keep the awesome content coming. Michael, thank you so much. Your fudge is awesome, but let me just say this. That thing about me sharing is incorrect, inappropriate, and intended with malice toward me.
Untrue.
I told you, what I don't bring back is when Joe Mock brings me those donut boxes. They're as big as a car hood.
Cookies.
And he expects me to carry everything through. I just don't.
Donuts. Cookies. Never get those.
Texter. I am binge listening in between regular episodes. I just listened to the J.J. Weatherholt episode. He and Garrett Green are cut from the same cloth.
That was a good one, JJ.
I was listening to a Cincinnati Reds podcast recently. Since they now have the second pick in the upcoming draft, they hosted a draft expert. He said at this time, next year's draft, there are 3 at the top, then all the rest. JJ was one of those 3. Wow.
Pretty good.
Key question. Did Weatherholt go fishing with Steve Dunlap? I don't know if they ever did.
Don't know that. I don't think so.
On the episode, you also talked about all-time great catches. I was a Mountaineer freshman in 1975. Nothing tops the catch Randy Swinson made to put us in position to kick the game winner against Pitt. You know, that was before I arrived here by nearly a decade. But people talk about Randy Swinson's catch that set up the field goal like it happened last night. And that's a good thing. They also talk about the 82 Oklahoma win like it happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the thing about Randy Swinson's catch is this. Think about this, man. That's almost 50 years.
Crazy.
It's 2023. That happened in 75. So stop now. Now you want to make yourself feel really old? Here we go. Let's
push forward now.
Let's do this thing. So let's say I got here in 84. Okay, which I did. I got here in 84. So if you go back, almost 50 years from 84, we'd be talking about a catch in the 1936 Mountaineer game. Think about how bizarre that becomes. Right?
Yes.
Like if someone brought up a catch to me in 1984, you should have seen this catch in 1936. I'd say, what the? Was it in black and white? How would you know? But instead we sit here and talk about these catches. Talk about Major's run.
And we'll continue to do so.
Major's that's 35 years ago.
That's what happens, though. That happens every generation.
I know.
Right? Younger people now look at us like we're nuts when we talk about those things.
Exactly.
But they'll have their own.
Because we thought, like, let's face it, like the older guys that were here that were talking about that catch, like even when in the 80s, when they would talk about West Virginia beating Penn State at Penn State in the 50s, we'd look at them like the guys that were shooting the game on the sideline, like had the cover over their head and the thing would explode and to get the picture of the game, right? That's how we would look at it. Can you believe he's freaking talking about this game in 1955?
You mean like the light bulb would
Yeah,
go
the
off?
buck. Guy's got a big curtain over his head. That's what it would seem like, right? Like, why is that guy talking to me about that game? Like, people back then, they had like a raccoon coat on. They'd like wave a thing, a pom-pom, and the photographer would be, stay right there.
What would the light do?
You're right. Boy,
Well, listen.
Hey, listen, you want to take this seriously? You want to take that call? Walk out there. Can you walk out there and take that call? Take that call because we might have different information. All right. We're here for you, folks. We're trying to get you the most fresh stuff. All right, texter. Oh, gee. Oh, he's there now. He's there now. This will be fun. I'm doing textual healing by myself. So now finally no one can attack me. Craig from Winfield. Regarding Aubrey Burks, if he chooses to transfer, as it is currently being rumored, reported, good for him. Go collect your money. However, Coach Brown should not allow him to play in the bowl game, in my opinion. There still has to be a point where you draw a line for loyalty to the team, which is he no longer is loyal to the team. More importantly, Aubrey lived on the same floor as my daughter their freshman year. He borrowed some ranch dressing from her, but he never returned it. Now that he can easily afford it, I think it's time to buy her a new bottle of ranch dressing. Good luck to him wherever he ends up. I'll just be left with a sad image of my daughter having salad without her dressing. Thanks for all you do. Very cute. So, in regard to that, there are some players that do, and this is not just West Virginia specific, there are times when a player is going to go into the portal, but they do play in the bowl game. And what qualifies for that? Well, I think, and this is all based obviously on what the coach wants to do, but there are times when a coach understands the player's situation. Let's say you're a team that's got running backs and you know you're not going to be in that rotation next year and get the snaps that you want. And you say, Coach, I am going to go into the portal. But if you want, I'll play in this game, because we know we have this player's out and this player's out. If you're willing, I'm willing. I'm playing. Plus, I give myself another opportunity to show myself to other schools. Then it becomes, okay, I'm willing to do that. You're willing to do that. Let's do that. Then it kind of goes, okay, I get it. I make sense if that's there. But there are other times where that's not there, and it's just better to cut bait. Now, Neil's thing is he cuts bait. When you had the two receivers very early in this season, Cortez Braham and Jeremiah Aaron, opting out after 4 games, it was like, see ya. Because sometimes it's not good when I'm not saying specifically those, but you got he gone, go. You don't want him around. Don't lift. You're done. You made your decision. You're out. See ya. But there are times when it does make sense. There are times there. So I don't think you could say 100% of the time you're definitely gone. Sometimes it makes sense for both to stay. Texter. Good evening, gents. To follow the vernacular, newish listener. Started at the beginning of football season, so I'm officially a sophomore now, right? I'm a first-time texter. I've been wondering about a few things on eligibility. The first is about Zach Frazier. I wonder if NFL teams might question whether he will be ready next year and whether another year at West Virginia to reprove himself might benefit him in their eyes. Not to mention the award, the Big 12 title possibilities mentioned earlier. And that's an abbreviation of that. So the answer to that is no. I mean, Zach, we all knew going into this year that was going to be it for Zach. He's done his time. He's played a lot of football here. It's time for him to put himself into that professional ranks. And from what I'm told, he will be ready to go for the start of an NFL season next year. So, no, there's nothing there on that one. The other is the eligibility question about Raekwon. So this is so fresh that it's all going on. Now, would you care to offer any information on the phone call?
Well, I would say this. I would say what we said at the opening part of the show when I said that it's going to get really loud and there's going to be a lot of noise centered around this issue.
You did say that.
Noise is coming. Noise is coming. There are a bunch of entities, people / around this that think the NCAA has made a massive PR mistake here and that this is not at all what was intended with the ruling. People are working on clarifications of that as we speak, which is what we thought earlier.
So we kind of thought we didn't screw it up.
No,
too bad.
we didn't. So we didn't. We don't know what's going to happen, but certainly what the fallout was going to be from that clarification from the NCAA, I think we hit that right on the nose.
Or are thinking of going back to the judge and asking for clarification. We were on that.
That will be coming.
That will be coming.
Yes.
Okay. He goes on to say, I understand this is a very long first text, so this doesn't make textual healing. I understand. I still love to hear your insights on this because I respect all of your fact-based logical, realistic thoughts and insight. Appreciate your feedback. Sign HD in Baltimore. I took care of most of that for you.
Okay.
Ben in Chicago writes 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 words. And you talk about timing. Gentlemen, that doesn't count as one of the words. Did WVU just break the NCAA? I don't know yet, but when you go back and think historically, the answer is maybe. Sean Alston's case was monumental and game-changing. And this particular case potentially will be looked at in the years to come to say that is where the dam let out and it would just never look back. Yeah, potentially. I don't think WVU did it. Well, I mean, no, because WVU is not involved in this lawsuit.
No, but it is remarkable that
Yes.
two landmark decisions were front-facing with two former WVU or current former
Well, why do you think that
WVU
is?
athletes.
Why do you think that is? Because there's always a West Virginia connection.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
If that doesn't,
This is bearing itself out right there.
if that doesn't sell more T-shirts, we told you
Told you, always a connection.
last night. Fight in the Indiana Pacers game against the Bucks when Giannis got bummed out that he didn't get the ball after he scored 64. Why did the Pacers want to keep the ball? Because Oscar Tshiebwe scored his first NBA points. They wanted to have Oscar to have the ball because there's always a West Virginia connection. But wait, it goes more. Your lifelong buddy growing up is the general manager of the Pacers, correct?
He is.
He was also center involved because he got involved in that hallway, whatever. He took a shot to the ribs. I mean, I don't even know, is it broke? Is he breathing? Did you check in with him?
I have not talked to him yet, but I will. He's a real mellow guy. He's probably just trying to calm everybody down
Sure
back
he
there.
was.
Okay, I was trying to find the ball. I don't know why he caught a stray.
Stupid ball. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing getting in fights? Grown men getting in fights in the hallway about a ball. So
It
stupid.
was an odd story.
It's odd. I mean, those guys ever stop and take a deep breath and think, right?
No.
No. Don't even get me started on Draymond Green. I'd suspend him for like 100 for like 6 years. And
Well,
they'd say,
He is suspended right now.
yeah. I'd say, what's a suspension? League should come out and just say 2 words, dumbass. So what do you mean? Well, just a dumbass. He just continues to be a dumbass. He's suspended now for 6 years. You want to be a dumbass? You can't be a dumbass. Just suspend it for 6 years. He could have, dude, he swung at that guy. You hit him in the wrong place. He had no idea where that was landing, but he wanted to hit him in the head.
Yeah, I would tend to agree.
Okay, so just go back for our younger folks out there. Go back in the 1970s and just put in your YouTube machine, Rudy Tomjanovich, Kermit Davis. Basically a punch that ended Rudy Tomjanovich's career. Like, it can happen in a second. Oh, I didn't mean it. No, you didn't mean it. But you could do irreparable damage to someone when you just swing. And it's just chronic with him. JD from the Southern Coalfields writes, Dear God, please let the Big 12 and ACC merge. There's absolutely no reason for WVU football to be traveling west of the Mississippi multiple times a year, and there's no reason for basketball to need to schedule a 2-game road trip on Saturday and Monday, except for money, wink, wink. We've heard snippets from Tony regarding the long travel and the late times getting home, but I would love to hear a detailed description of what it's really like to go to West Texas, play an evening game, fly home afterward, never mind Arizona or Utah. JD from the Southern Coalfields. JD, thanks for listening. Thanks for the question. I differ than others on this travel thing. And I have been on every single Big 12 road trip with West Virginia in the last 12 years, with the exception of 2 games. I missed 2. COVID and a wedding. And so I know it. I felt it. I've been there. Here's what I say, man. It's been overhyped of how hard it is. It's 9 games in the league on the road, okay? The league goes out of its way to give you a couple of these 2-gamers so you don't have to go back and forth all 9 times. You end up going back and forth 7 times. Okay, you with me? It's not like they tell you 3 days before, oh, by the way, you got to go play Texas Tech at Texas Tech. Like, it's known. Mentally, I say you prepare your team for that. And you say from day one, hey, here's what we have in front of us. On this particular week, this is that trip, and this is how we're going to do this. If you just constantly say how hard it is, how bad it is, how tough it is, people will believe you. We fly as nice as you can fly. Big seats. Big seats, big planes. You get on the plane, go to sleep. So to me, it's overhyped. If you put it in someone's head that something's hard, they're going to buy into it. Like there's so much stuff that's harder than what you're being asked to do. That's my take. Now, you have to be smart about it, just leg-wise. So if you do go Wednesday, Saturday, and you have a Saturday at home, yeah, you have to be cognizant of it. Yeah, but like it's overhyped. Ridiculous. Last one. Hey guys, my wife and I went to Columbus to do some Christmas shopping this weekend. Swung by the Walmarts and happened upon this.
Oh, that's not real.
It is.
No, that's photoshopped.
Nope. I looked it up.
No way.
Yep. $20. These are the regular ones, but impressive nonetheless. I had to pick these up for Dad as he is an avid Reese's fan. Loved the show. Merry Christmas, Scotty and Milton.
Where was he?
He's up there in the Columbus Walmart.
That's real?
18-pack.
No.
I looked it up.
Those aren't regular size ones either. It looks wide.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
They're basically small manhole covers.
I have not seen that.
Mm-hmm.
First I've seen of that.
Yeah.
Scotty, that's strong.
I wrote back to him. I said, dude, that's the all-time league leader right there.
That is. That's awesome. I've never seen that.
You think about it, man. You take that with a fly rod Slim Jim, right? And get yourself a 17-liter Mountain Dew over there at Go-Mart, and that's basically a Christmas party.
That is strong. Real quick before you go, want to give a quick shout-out. Was out and about in the community this week. Ran into some listeners.
Well, that's not a surprise.
Ran into Peyton Shreve and Ella Mehring. Ella's from Cincinnati.
Where'd you see him?
Peyton's from Bridgeport. Just out and about in the community. But they stopped. They're students at WVU.
Oh, these are the people you ran into.
Yeah, they're in the finals. But Peyton wanted to point out, they both listen. Ella and Peyton both listen, but turned on to the program from Mark Shreve. Peyton's dad got him into it. So big shout out to all of them.
So both those young
Best of luck on finals, and thank you, Mark Shreve.
Both those
listening.
young ladies are listeners.
Yeah.
They recognized you where you were?
They did.
That make you feel weird?
But it was nice of them. They were very nice. Had a great conversation. Liked hearing from the folks.
And they're from here in the state?
They listen. Yeah. Bridgeport. Peyton and Mark Shreve from Bridgeport.
Gotcha.
Ella's from Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
I did not ask her if she says Cincinnati, and when she said it, she said Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm. Probably not aware of the other pronunciation.
But anyway,
well,
thanks to the Shreves.
If she wants to get back home, she can go to Parkersburg and get on the Ohio River and get on the Lou Wendell pontoon boat. Right now, that Lou Wendell pontoon available for you. It is the Avalon Tri-Toon, and it's that super-duper special that they've been offering to our Three Guys listeners. Look at that bad boy. It is one word, sweet. That's
Nice.
the Avalon 2385 Entertainer, top-of-the-line Tri-Toon boat. Great, great Christmas present. You go to Lou Wendell, they'll put a ribbon on that bad boy. You stick that underneath. Well, you probably can't get it into your tree, but you could bring it to the front. You could bring it in your driveway and then tell your folks in your family, hey, go outside and look out the window. And that bad boy's got a ribbon on it. It's available to you. Honda 150, trailer, the whole deal. You ask for the Three Guys special price, and that is yours. Special thanks to Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. Boy, this has been a unique show.
Different kind of
Did
episode.
I say unique earlier?
Yeah,
Just
well,
different.
it
It's
is
just
different.
it's been a different show. I don't know how this is going to age. We might go back and look at this in like 6-8 months and say, man, that was weird. Or we might say, hey, we were right on top of that thing while it was happening.
It doesn't mean it's going to get changed. I think we were right on top of what the fallout would be from that decision.
Yeah.
Or clarification.
So basically, to put it in a Reader's Digest form, the NCAA, as we began the program, tried to maintain a hard line and say that you will lose eligibility if you play if this is not right. If this case is ruled in favor of the NCAA, you will lose a year. So it got everyone scared. And while the course of this pod was going on, we said, wait a second. The judge is going to go. They're going to go to the judge and say, clarify this to tell
This
the NCAA.
is not what you meant, correct?
Right. And then people are going to. You said it's going to get hot.
Yeah.
And it did. Right. The attorney general
Did and
fired.
is. Yeah.
It did is. And then you took another call.
Yes.
You didn't hire a soccer coach or anything while you went.
Did not hire a soccer coach, but verified what we were saying was along the right path. People are hot.
So in three guys' terms, whether the NCAA knows it or not, here comes a heater.
Heater's coming. Heater is coming and is in process of coming. Yes.
All right, we're out. Back Monday, we'll talk about whatever the heck. Who knows who's playing? Who knows who's playing Saturday? I mean, who knows? Goodness. I mean, Deshaun Butler and Alex Ruoff, for all we know, will be out there playing by the time this
Put
thing
Coach
gets.
McCabe in there as well.
By the time they get done with the NCAA, I mean, McCabe might be out there. Alex going to get a little bit. Deshaun, final box on the game, Deshaun Butler had 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. Looked good.
Well, and even though DeMar went to Cincinnati, I think his transfer would be approved. You can put him in as well.
We've done enough damage. Three guys before the game, brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By GoMart. Go to gomart.com for the details on getting that rewards card, which opens the door for stuff. Money off on food, fuel, and a whole lot more. Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. And by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond the numbers. Thanks to our producer, Luke Rousey. We're back again on Monday. Be good. Check out episode800.com. Still not late to get your stuff. See y'all.